are here. Welcome, YouTube world. This is Jeremy and Stone. I'm Stone, and we are here with Bullish Bears with you today on this Tuesday, January 31st. And we're looking at all sorts of stuff here today. See what we got
I just goofed.
happening with price action. We got a mixed bag of stuff going on. We got FOMC coming up tomorrow, making everything seem a little sideways at first. We got a little pop right here. We're curious to see what we're going to get now. And we're following price action.
Kind of grinding. We're expecting a lot of sideways motion before FOMC, and that's just kind of typical. It's a
Yep.
good scalpers market. I mean, you can scalp trades pretty quick on this stuff if you're quick. But swing trading is kind of not necessarily taboo at this time. It's just a little more technical, and if you're a savvy options trader, you can take advantage of this really well with a few little easy strategies. But if you've got little experience trading through some kind of volatility setup like this, be very careful because a lot of things can happen in a very short time when this does finally break. Let me double check to make sure we're actually live because I don't have enough monitor space to monitor it while I'm broadcasting.
Right.
But I can check with my phone. I guess that counts as monitor space.
Safe.
Yeah, we're live right now. Cool. Right on. So anyway, how's everybody doing out there, as well as in our Discord server?
Hey, buddy. We're tracking price. We got a little movement going on.
A little consolidation pattern here on a 1-minute chart.
Yeah, I see that.
And if you take Ironclad's megaphone pattern there and convert it to a diamond, you'll see something. I'm going to throw it in the chat real quick. Do you see what I see? No, I'm not doing Christmas songs right now. So I have two diagonal resistance points there.
See the diamond.
One's the diamond. The other one is a trend line from the angular resistance from that descending channel. So what's cool is you can turn the expansion side resistance of the diamond into a price target on the 1-minute chart, which is currently targeting 403.15. If you continue to trend on that, at some point it might break out and make a very parabolic move, or you can expect a pullback. So if you're scalping, you can make that your moving price target if it's trending. Usually, if I'm scalping futures, I'll go kind of a few ticks below that angular and just trade from A to B, rinse, repeat. Oftentimes, you can get a series of 2-pointers out of that pretty easily.
Right.
Some of those.
Well, this looks like we're setting up for a push here. Just not sure how far, if we're going to get to that 457. We got to that 455. I think we had 456 from Ironclad. So we want to try to see if we can hit that 457, 458 area. Possible we can get all the way up to 4060 on the MES.
Oh, easily.
Or it could just be like, we get these tops here. And this is like a little double top on the 1-minute, so it's got a little caution here. And well, we just started this 5-minute candle, so we can see what it's going to do.
Oh yeah. Good point, bud. If you're still in here.
What do you say?
Oh, he had to go actually. I'll read it.
Oh, it's a private message.
Yeah. Like, I'm calling it ceasefire and or Fed pivots. Wait a minute, I read it out of context maybe. Calling it ceasefire and or Fed pivots are inverse head and shoulders confirmation. That was out of the pre-market there. Market hits towards 430, and if it's a full measured move, 450, 460. We're talking about the daily chart on SPY here. Then we take the elevator down, or actually the window. I would totally agree with that, because this is kind of what we see on the daily chart, just kind of adding up. It's like if we get this rally and we sustain strength behind it, it can absolutely go to that 430 target. Not a problem. But when it gets there, I think it's going to meet some resistance and have to pull back, because at that point it would be a full measured move up from that low back in October there of 2022. And if you take that whole trend and put it past the pullback and use your eyeball, it puts a target right at 430. That would be a full measured move up from that low. So it never hurts to look at a daily chart to kind of get those levels figured out, and then you just trade whatever the heck happens between then and now. All right. Pushed that 403 to a penny over 403. Now we're getting a doji party. Tesla's kind of creeping on back to that 172 level. There's a pivot above at 174.70. And I would expect a healthy pullback at that point.
Hit the target. Ironclad called.
There you go. And 403.15 is right on deck here.
Mm-hmm.
By
40.57. 30. We have a potential 40.60.
Love it. And Tesla actually might set up another push here. Huh. Kind of all over the place this morning because, well, price is kind of all over the place this morning. So
yeah, price is all over the place this morning. Well, we look like we're setting up for a move, and we're hitting pivots all along the way. So it's just a matter of, what we're going to get. We got that 1 minute chart, though. We got those topping tails on SPY and the MES.
right.
This is hitting. This is a move I measured out earlier, looking at this flag right here. Basically, it gave us a little bit of a pennant. And when you get those flags, you see, you get the opening of the pennant. And generally, you can use that as a measuring tool as well. There's lots of ways to measure moves. And but we're going to see we're getting the slam down right here back into those moving averages.
Oh,
There we go.
I see what's happening. Let me get the 5-second chart rolling. There's a GAN fan in here.
Yeah, I bet there is.
And it's actually right on schedule to hit a push to 403.25. Bam. As I said it, that 5-second chart almost nailed it. Went to 403.13, 403.17. And we just broke the fan. Next leg. I'm going to show you guys some weird ways to get some price targets that you might not be used to.
40.60. Come on, baby.
My next GAN fan leg is going to be a regression line between upper and the one we just nailed at 403.45.
I don't like that 1 minute candle.
Dude, this is cool. I like GAN fans. Too bad I have to
Yeah,
build them
they are
myself.
cool. All right, we're trying to push here. We're getting into some areas. You can see my charts there. I have some stuff moving around. hitting certain levels. Looks like we're getting the top here on this 1 minute, so be careful. It's still got time to close.
Is it GANN? The GAN fan, is it GANN?
Oh, GANN.
Gotcha. Love those, dude. And it's like so unorthodox to build those from previous price action in a weird
Yep.
way like that. But dude, they're so stinking accurate.
All right, so we ran into the to these levels up here that I had marked out earlier, and kind of backed out of it and see if this is a pause. Let's clean this up. What drawings do we have? All right, so if we clean this up,
And
we can look and see where our channels are.
I say this a lot, but we've got a lot of new members in here now too. If you've got some monitor space or some real estate where you can set up a grid, watch that SPY or ES 10-second chart or 5-second chart, whichever one you can get your hands on. And if nothing else, you can practice your pattern recognition. You can practice your trend line recognition. Practice everything you can on that chart, that really short time chart, because you can get muscle memory really fast on that. Rather than sitting there for the better part of a year taking in price action on a 1 and 5 minute chart, you can double your progress or even quadruple your progress of getting that memory built by looking at that 5 and 10-second chart and just draw on it. Even if you're not trading it, draw on it. Get used to seeing those patterns in short time. On things like the S&P, you get a very consistent set of patterns that kind of reoccur throughout the day, and it gives you that really fast ability to be able to glance at a chart and know what the setup is, and eventually you can start applying the ability to have your trade plan in that same instance. You can glance at the chart, recognize the pattern, recognize the price targets, and know where the trading action is likely to be. So you can say, okay, if this, I buy here, then sell there. If that, after I buy here, this is my plan for cutting losses, this is my plan for taking profit, this is an extension I could go to on momentum, stuff like that. Start, practicing that, and you get it in rapid succession on the 5 and 10-second chart. And that ability to build that muscle memory that you need to recognize these charts and how to trade them, it comes to you much, much faster.
Sorry, Jeremy. Do you do that using, the patterns on the wallpaper? Are those when you say you use muscle memory, you learn to recognize the patterns, bullish, bearish, reversal,
Yep.
and then trade accordingly? Yeah, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Right, that's where I'm going wrong. Thank you.
No problem. It's just it gives you much more rapid practice when you're looking for those on that short-term chart, because they are there. It used to be back in the day. You get people talking about patterns, and they're talking about like nothing shorter than a 5-minute chart. And I've even seen it written where all of these patterns are irrelevant on anything below a 5-minute chart or 15-minute chart or some stupid crap like that. And I'm just like, dude, no. Go day trade something for a while, and you start looking at those really short-term charts and like, wow, these patterns are everywhere on every time frame, and they're all the same. You can really start stacking knowledge quick if you can do it in rapid succession. And that's the whole point, is we're here to learn, and that's just a way to learn much, much faster. Thank you. I do love getting personal messages, but if you want, share something with the group too. It's really cool. You can put it right in the chat. Someone just mentioned to me there's a great book on this subject called Blink. I think I'm going to try and find a link to that.
Okay. Find us a link to it. Meantime, we are fighting a little position here. It's possible that we're going to continue. Got to get past the red candle here at 40.58.25 on the MES. That's the 1 minute chart that we're looking at. There's really no econ, so there's really not a lot to move the market unless something comes out, some big news somewhere.
Oh,
A
you know what?
ceasefire like that would probably push the market. That's what we were talking about earlier, right?
Yep. That's it. It's just like shoot it, and then when the target drops, you don't need to shoot it anymore. You can wait for the next target to appear. I'll get to the chat a little later. I'm kind of rebroadcasting for Stone because he was having some issues with audio on his computer, so we can get all the background audio up to the YouTube channel. I'm rebroadcasting.
They can hear you
Yeah.
pretty good now?
Oh yeah.
Can they hear me? Do we know?
Way
Well,
better.
I'm not saying much, so yeah, let's see. Let's go look at this in a larger time frame.
If you're out there on YouTube listening and watching, shoot us a sound check real quick. See if you can hear
Yeah,
everybody
let us
clearly.
know if we're hearing everybody clearly. It'd be great.
Throw a comment.
All righty then.
Help us out.
All right, now I think we've made about the 50% retracement from that high of 2 days ago to that low. I said we have. This is the 50% retracement of that move. So if we push here on the MES, we could push here, or we could turn over right here. So I'm going to give it a look. You see, I've got this tail right here, this Tootsie Roll. Thank you, Rule Investor. That's awesome. We're right here on the 15. We're right here on a 30. All right, so what is this over here? This is clean. All right, so let me show you this. This is a 30-minute chart. And this is that look I'm talking about right now. This is the move from 2 days ago. Actually, let's redo it. Catch it, shoot fire. So we've made the 50% retracement from 4109.25, which was the high from 2 days ago, down to today's low, Globex low, and that was our point. We've crossed that wedge, and we are into this other wedge now. If it can't cross this right here, if it can't break that 50% retracement, and we're going to watch. It's the 30-minute chart right here. We're going to close this candle in just a few seconds. Let's go look at it on a 15 real quick and see what we got looking like right there. I broke that angular resistance here.
Today's range measure move at a 50% over to 40.57. I was calling that out earlier.
Yeah, I heard that. Were you here when I called it?
No, man, I just came back.
Okay.
He was getting his call. He let us know, so he let us know when the breakout was going to happen.
That's our friend Ironclad. Ironclad is the best indicator for the MES that there is.
Yep. When he gets up to take a call, look out. Something's going to happen.
By the way, we're at 34.75 on Mullen if anybody's interested.
I'm interested.
And
It's
I
pushing.
got a spread all the way out to $2 on that thing.
Nice. And then thanks for the link there, Rule One Investor. Very cool. That is a book I would like to read because I want to write some stuff too. So
33% here is 40.60-ish on this move here that I had measured earlier on the 1 minute chart. That's the 33% right there.
my P&L chart just went parabolic. Time to take some profit.
I have to be careful not to let my indicators get in the way of my candles.
Yeah, you know me. I've been kind of like I love charting nasty. I love drawing all of my chart, but dude, it gets to a point where it's like, oh, I can't see the candles anymore. I got a little bit of a cough developing here. One of my kids was coughing a bit last night, so I'm sure I've got whatever the heck he's got. All right, there's one more.
All right, let's see now. We can see we get a double top, possible double top right here on the SPY. Also over here.
One more piece of that on a 5-second chart. I've got a little little pennant on top of a
I see
control
that.
bar.
And I see it on the 10-second. We've got a 10-second bull pennant.
Yeah, it's strong. It's about to break. And it sets up a measure move, goes to our Ganfan target again at this time 403.65 on SPY.
We should hit the
There's the windup
460,
and a pitch.
250. There it is.
Love it.
4064. 4064 is coming.
I got 403.65 on the Ganfan target, but it may pull back here one more time. Hold on.
Yeah,
There-
this
there's
is
another
the
line.
this is the beginning of that candle, so it could.
There's one more line involved here. This is what we call, I know you're not watching my screen, but this is a time where you draw those retro lines that we've been
Yeah.
calling them for a while.
Yeah, it's trying to break that area, but it's having a little issue with it.
So sometimes when you're drawing trend lines, you get kind of stuck on the idea of drawing them from previous price action to current price action. What we mean by retro lines is drawing them backwards. Start at where you're at
Right.
for a peak and then draw it backwards. Figure out where the root is, because you can find the extensions and you can find regression lines and channels and everything off of that. So really cool way to draw. Just draw it backwards. Retro. Pretty cool concept. And man, that saves you a lot of grief when
Yep.
you're trying to, scratch your head figuring out where the hell is the root of this thing? Where do I start the line? Draw it backwards. All right, I'm wondering if Tesla and Amazon are just about out of poop here. Nope. Amazon's
Let's pull back on the
consolidating.
1 minute.
Amazon's consolidating for one more push.
Amazon looks like it's going to push back up to that 103.35.
Yeah. If it can break that, cool. It'll go to the 103.80. That's where my take profit or convert my spread zone is that 403 or 103.80. I could take profit now if I want to. I'm doing good.
Coming up
Sometimes-
to the top of this one block that we're at for the MES. Pushing on that 40-60-ish again.
Noise. And yesterday, just for day trades, because
Goes up to 8.
I had closed all of those free debit spreads I had open on Tesla with my February 17th expiration. So yesterday, I went and took another bullish position with just a Friday expiration, February 3rd expiration. And I'm going to look to, as soon as I see that thing run out of steam here, I'm going to convert that into a butterfly. The other thing I could do is just close it, but
We're we've had that little push, but you're not going to get many breakouts today, I don't think. And we haven't really had a breakout today, not yet, not on any of this stuff.
yeah.
Let's look at it. And all these bars are kind of close together and overlapping. It's not the best for trading certain things.
Holy smokes. I might be able to get my butterfly right here.
VIX has been tanking, but we're not moving with the VIX
No,
at all.
it's not a great day to be trading stuff like UVXY or any of the VIX based ETFs.
No. All right, let's see if we get this push here. Could be a. Let's see what this does on the 1 minute chart when it closes.
Nice. Someone was saying
30 seconds.
Brady on our YouTube channel here says he saw a 354,000 share order print on SPY to the buy side.
Huh.
I think it would be to the buy side.
All right.
All right, 5 second.
It is laying around. I see that morning star on the 10 forming.
Friday, 5 second pulled back to the 200 and bounced really quick, so might get accumulation here for a few more seconds.
Yeah, we're still holding that 50% mark on the 30 minute area, which is right where we are right now on the 5 minute chart. If you look at my 5 minute chart, that 48, 58, 39, it's not really 39, but that line right there represents 50%.
Yes, sir. And I'm watching a couple 1 minute bars. If we get a little tweezer here, that'd be bullish sentiment right there on the 20 period.
What, the tweezers?
The tweezer bottom on a 20 period after a pullback. If you don't get a tweezer there, you just expect it to bar through the 20 and become a deeper pullback. But if you get a little tweezer there, cool, you can run back up. And something's about to happen anyway, because I got to run and let some coffee out. So I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, we got something going on here, just not. Could be just a big pullback on this one right here. How many bars we got? That's tweezer top there. Let's see if we can hit those levels there. It's that 100% level right there. It's coming back to test it. So we did have that little push, but that was right here. We did break out of that channel right here, and I bet if I take that channel, show you what happened. I hadn't quite made 100% of it though, but we did get 50% of it. This right here, we want to see if this guy holds. What's his low? 456. Last 30 seconds of this 5 minute candle. So we're going to watch this, the last 30 seconds of this candle over here as well. Six. See what this guy does here. I'm going to slam back into that level. And there goes the push down. So now we got a little turnaround. Good. So we're not breaking this 50% mark that I have marked out already right here.
Okay.
This is a 50% mark right here. And we rejected into that. We rejected from it so far, but this could still be a pullback. We're going to watch this 5 minute chart. Let's go back to our 1 minute. We saw we had that hit into that 33% area right there, made a 1/3 move, boom, back into the 100% area, dropped. So now we're going to see if it comes back down to the 66, the 40.52 down here. That was a big drop. let's go back. I need to look at my 1 minute, my 5 minute though. Daily 1.5, and we go auto. Let's break this out a little bit here. Sometimes the candles look different squinched up. They look different this way. You have to find ways to scale your candles in and out to be able to see things. Sometimes you really have to think about whether there's a channel there. And one of the ways to do that, is to stretch it out a little bit, and you can see your channels there. And then I always look for those touches, and you have to really think about them when you've got small candles like this. I mean, this is really choppy, y'all. This is crap. We're used to, you want to see candles like this and have some real movement. But this is right now, this is kind of weak. If we go out on the 15-minute chart, it probably won't look that way as weak. There you go. But we've getting these wicks, 1, 2, 3. So, this could be the turnaround here where we come back down. So this topping tail could be it.
To answer the question in the chat there, when I'm looking to convert a butterfly like that, and this is a really short time to expiration spread I started with, but the way I started is with a simple debit spread. In this case, I ran a $5 wide, just like my other position, only with a much more rapid expiration date. I went and bought the 205, sold the 210, paid 8 cents per spread, and then when I can go and sell those for 10 cents per spread, I've locked in profit. Or when I can go to sell those for 15 cents a spread on the 205, 210 for a decent profit, I could lock in a bunch of that profit, cover my cost on it, and have a chance to where if Tesla does run way up and meet me at the middle, I can profit greatly on that. So what I would do in this case is I would sell another 210 and then buy the 215 above it and open that for a net credit. And essentially it's leveraged against my long position. Being that it's such a short time decay will really start to eat the short spread fast. So if I get price action that just kind of trades in a range, I can then swing or day trade the short spread on top of my long spread up to expiration, thus reducing my risk in it. Or I can just sit on it and leave it alone, and it's locked in at a profit. It theoretically cannot lose. Pardon me, my throat's a little dry this morning, so.
All right.
Try as I might, keeping from coughing is really hard. So I just clear my throat a lot.
5 minute chart. This looks like this could be a pullback, and this is potential double bottom right here. Now, double bottoms look different when you're going with price action as opposed to looking for candlestick patterns. There is a difference between candlestick patterns and candlestick patterns. They're the classic candlestick patterns that you look for with the cup and handles and the head and shoulders and things like that. But and double bottoms. And double bottoms, we look for on time frames. We often look for something that looks like a W. But often you get double bottoms that are like this, where you have two candles that are on the same price. This would be a lower high double bottom. Now, this isn't necessarily that way. We haven't completed this next candle, but it's possible that it is. So a lot of times you'll hear these phrases, and all traders use different phrases, 1, 2, 3. All phrases that they use aren't always the same. The terminology is different. So, somebody might say double bottom here, somebody might say tweezer top here, and they mean something different, but it's how they see it.
Right.
So that can be a confusing thing to new traders. It's something you have to be careful about.
So you can do calendar butterflies, but they tend to be a little tricky because if you're gonna do it, you're gonna obviously want to sell closer to expiration against your long spread. Downside is you're gonna end up having a hard time finding a sweet spot in there, and you have to realize the exercise price of the short leg on the long spread. It's going to be your cost basis on assignment. If you have two short legs, one at sooner expiration date, they don't offset each other like they would in a vertical butterfly. So definitely a lot more risk involved if you're doing that. So you got to be very careful to make sure you're picking exactly the right break even. I try to keep my butterflies vertical, same day expiration for sure. I do trade calendar spreads, but I do them in a different way. I'll run with a the poor man's covered call works pretty well in some cases, but in other cases it doesn't. So if I'm buying a long leap, I'm making sure I'm getting a bargain deal on that, and I'm trading buying a setup. So I'm going and buying a triple bottom reversal that I suspect will bounce off the floor and run back up. Kind of like I did with Amazon out of that rounding bottom. So you go into that with the general bullish sentiment. You wait a little while instead of going and selling that spread right away. You let it accumulate some profit first, and then the idea of selling that spread is to lock in that profit. And if it's a poor man's covered call, your process is to generate income on that. If it's a debit spread, it's not the same. The debit spread is you'd rather not sell the calendar to try to lock in profit, because if it blows out through the short spread on a calendar, you're not going to get the same cost basis. So your execution is going to have to exercise your leaps, and there's going to be quite a difference in cost there. But if you're going vertical, selling spreads against an existing spread, you're locking in a theoretically can't lose situation. So if price blows through the whole thing, you're going to be guaranteed a profit. In some cases, you can swing trade the short spread, and that's my secondary intention. Is my primary intention is to lock in profit. My secondary intention is to be able to swing trade a short leg. When I first did the butterflies on Amazon in that rounding bottom there, and that first leg up on that trend, I did that butterfly conversion, and then I went and bought back the short spread a couple days after the pullback, and then I was able to sell it again later, lock it into another butterfly, and then once that fell back down below what I spent on it, I was able to take profit buying back the short spread, and then literally in the same day, towards the end of the day, it ran back up, so I just profited the long spread and exited the whole position. So yeah, you can swing trade the short legs. You just got to be pretty adamant about making sure that you're actually capturing a profit and you're not just shooting yourself in the foot. Oh, Stone, you'll be happy to know I changed my alert back.
You what?
I changed my phone alert back.
We could diggity.
No, I went, all right.
All right.
All right.
Time we have 15 seconds on this candle.
Did that come through, or did it filter that?
What's that?
Okay, it didn't come through. So I guess
I can't tell.
I have to be talking when it happens if it's going to come through.
Yeah, probably so. 19. What are we going to do here, gentlemen? Are you going to push? Or are you going to fall back down? What are you going to do? Because you look like you're going to do something.
Well, let's see. Tesla's consolidated. Did a pullback from that last leg, which is healthy. We're back to the middle of it. I must not be seeing a liquidity zone here. Let me look at the... Aha. Yeah, if you look at the 15-minute chart and zoom out on Tesla from yesterday and today, you'll see that yesterday was a bearish measured move. Today it's looking to reciprocate that with a bullish measured move. Extension target would be like 176.50.
That look on SPY 1 minute.
I see that, and it's
Looks like a pennant.
And it's
Or it's a trap.
if you go back to that diamond I drew up from the open there, just put a regression line in it up that channel.
the last 2 hour. This is the last little bit of the first 2 hours of the market.
Yeah, this is that time of day where we just start droning on about options and stuff.
Oh yeah, we're getting close. This is almost done, but you could get a little move here. We're just trying to see what the market wants to do. I know it's going sideways. There are bulls and bears doing something.
It's setting up for a quick push. It'll either break that regression and run to the bottom of the channel or
Yeah.
bounce off of it. I drew it and threw it in the chat there. It's like waiting for paint to dry. But look further left into the pre-market and start at that Globex low right around 635 this morning. Count that up to the trend up to about 830, and then you got that rounding top pullback, and then look at what we did in the opening hours. That is a full measured move at 403.48 made. So a pullback here would be likely to hit 402.20 if it's going to pull back here, and then go for accumulation to possibly push out of the upper end of that liquidity zone. If not, it can bounce off the regression line and just run to the top of that thing anyway without a pullback, or this would be the pullback. And I think that's happening as I say it. So
Yeah, we're gonna see what they do here.
I'm gonna up my sodium intake to keep my heart rate regular. That's working. I'm blown away by how easy that was.
Well, if you got low blood pressure, that helps.
That too. I generally do have
If you're
very low
high,
blood
it
pressure.
doesn't.
Yeah, if you have high blood pressure, don't increase
do
your
it.
sodium. But if you got low blood
This
pressure,
is not medical advice.
no, gosh, no. I've been having issues with palpitations, and I think it's long
Come
COVID
on, push.
complications.
There's the 50% of the 33.
And
Go.
I'm not talking slamming my sodium level, just up a little bit. It seems to really help.
Come on, baby. Push that son of a bee.
And I'll have a talk with our good friend Ryan about that in a few minutes here. Sorry it's so dry. We're kind of watching paint dry here, so we need to be more entertaining. Should we tell a joke?
Trying to figure out what it's going to do right here. I mean, it looks like almost a fake out there.
Oh. Yeah, let me. We have a question on our YouTube channel, if you will. See if we would mind breaking down some price action on Snap earnings, looking at 18% probability of a move.
I can get that up on the chart in a minute, but I'm in a trade. That's why I'm quiet. I usually don't do this, but I'm trying to practice this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a little challenging to do both.
Oh, totally.
For me, it is. Matter of fact, I don't think I can do it.
I'll get after it.
It's huh?
I'll get
No,
after it.
I mean, I don't think I can trade and moderate at the same time,
Oh,
Jeremy. It's
gotcha.
just not working for me.
Gotcha.
It's too much distraction. I'm a focused type person, and when I'm trying to trade something and people are talking about other stuff, it
Right.
screws me up. I'm trying to do this for everybody, but it's not working for me.
Sometimes I'll be trading and moderating at the same time, and someone will ask me a question, and I'll just go on a wild tangent and totally
Right.
forget what the hell they said. It happens
Right.
once in a while.
Well, for me, if I'm moderating and I'm talking price action and we start talking options,
Yeah.
it throws me. It totally, now you're talking numbers and I'm thinking
Right.
numbers and I have to take my headphones off.
Gotcha.
And it's I'm trying to do this for everybody. And I think what I'm going to have to do is just teach price action when I moderate and not try to trade.
Or I can just shut my mouth about options for a while.
No,
I
that's
tend
all right.
to drag on.
people listen, you got to give the people what they want, and they
That's
don't
true.
seem to want price action. They seem to want options more.
Well, it's kind of both. We've got some futures traders in here in the morning with us, and generally, up till about 10:30, 11 o'clock, the price action is usually pretty easy to trade, and then
Right. It's
This
been a little
time-
crazy today.
this time of day, it's just kind of sideways accumulating in a zone. There are some day trades to be made on price action here for sure.
Absolutely. There's lots of them.
But then, you know, if I'm going to get into talking options, it's like, yeah, it
It
goes on.
just
and-
throws it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
I get
sorry
it.
to be bitching out in
No.
front of everybody, but it's challenging for me.
I'm harsh and you're mellow, bro.
It's frustrating. No, I mean it's not you. It's just it's a very trading's not easy.
No,
And when people are trying to trade one way and you got a whole bunch of people talking about another way,
right.
it's like I can't listen. I got to take my headphones off.
Gotcha.
I can't
All right,
watch
guys.
chat.
I gotta get out of here. Thanks again. Have a
I
good
hope you
one.
had a good day, buddy.
You too, man.
Red today, but it's okay. It's part of the game.
That's right.
It was pretty choppy this morning. That would be a very
Yeah.
challenging trade. So we had
I think
targets.
Listen, I'm going to go ahead and
get.
get off of YouTube here and
Yeah.
moderating, and I will catch back up with you guys after a little while.
Sounds great, man. And while you're hanging out there, I'm gonna continue the broadcast. I think I can switch screens right in the middle of the stream. I'll go through that snap thing for you real quick, and then I'm gonna sign off. Let me see here. All I do is go blank, blank. There we go. Yeah, give me 1 second to minimize that. That was a strange message. There we go. Okay, let's go to Snap real quick here. I'll just throw it up on my Amazon chart. Nope, wrong one. I hit the enter button too soon. Damn, let me start with the daily. Alright, we're going to need a bigger screen. There we go, that should be visible. Let me get the chat back up. Bada bang. So we have kind of a nice little rounding bottom happening on the weekly chart. I'm going to start with the weekly chart and work my way down. Snap has been freaking phenomenal amounts of movement, right? I mean, that peak up there, 83.34, are you kidding me? It's trading at like 9, 10 bucks, 11 bucks down at the bottom there. Well, that was, back in 2021. But what you get with the weekly chart is you get key levels, just like we always point out these control bars. Oh, and I'm going to start sharing. Well, I guess I'll put this out on YouTube because Stone's still streaming with his price action. So let me go back into what I was saying here. So you get these pivot points and you can put in there. What the heck happened?
I came back. I got out of the trade. I made money and got out of it.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry about that. No, it's just something, we're trying to get all this worked out, but it is challenging, I got to say.
We worked through it. And you know what you get when you defeat a challenge?
Oh yeah, you become a diamond
You get accomplishment. Yeah, that too.
or a mashed potato.
Or a mashed potato.
Damn right. Are we
All
still on
right.
YouTube?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. I'm sharing my screen real quick, doing a quick
Okay,
analysis
good.
on Snap. So I've got key levels I can pay attention to from this previous trend back here when it was bullish, way back when. And you get into a control bar, it gives you a very good idea of what's expected for possible range. Okay, that's on a weekly chart from way back here, and this is 2020. All right, so we can see over here it reciprocated. We've got this big old control bar here for this bearish move, and the bottom of that sucker stopped right at a key level. So we can adjust our pivot. It was based on this control bar at the time. It just exceeded it. But if you look at what happened here, you got that wick all the way down in that range, right? So you get a really good idea of what to expect if it breaks out. So now we can get rid of this pivot line, and I'm going to show you something else that's going to work even better for you. instead of drawing a pivot, you'll see it easier when you find the point of control. You've got two of them here. You got this wick here, you got this wick here. So what you're going to do is take and draw what we call the shadow box across that wick, and that'll give you the key resistance for the current trend. Or it can be a price target for a breakout on the current earnings news, and it may or may not do this. The other thing to realize here, this is one hell of a bearish trend here. This can still be a bear flag, but you're going to know where the points of control are within that bear flag. You can find out what is to be expected for a trade, if this, then that type of scenario, right? So you can set it up like a program. Now we know where that area is of control, and this is just a consolidation zone. There's another area of control right below it because there's part of a gap here. All right, so we're going to look at the daily chart and figure out where that zone is. And we can overlap it up to about the middle of this control zone. This just shows you where areas of liquidity are. If you've ever heard the term bag holder when it comes to talking about stocks with your friends and whatnot, you'll know that there's going to be a lot of people who bought this run and then got smashed in this gap, right? So there's going to be a bunch of bag holders wanting to get close to break even as possible, or they might even be willing to take a loss in that zone. So a lot of these people are going to unload their bags when it breaks this resistance point. Now that we're in this gap, we've got a good chance to close it, but there's going to be a pivot that's very pertinent right in the middle of that mess, and that's right where these two shadow zones intersect. So let's drill down into it even tighter. We'll run the 2-hour chart. That's some pretty parabolic bullish momentum. This is a nice clean measured move with a pullback to 50%. Actually, that went to like 66% with the extension on the wick. Very cool. That's actually very healthy. We can set up for a third leg into this liquidity zone, and look, you're already in the gap. You know where your target is. It's all the way up here at like 1250. So it's got room to run that, but at the same time, we're just barely in the lower end of this liquidity zone. There's a supply zone here. A lot of people are going to be wanting to unload their bags from that gap. So when you see this type of thing, pay attention to it, especially when it's coming to earnings. I'm going to go look at the calendar on that without disrupting the chart so I can go and see when the earnings is expected. Unless you can comment it faster than I can get it. Okay, where is it? Earnings expected. Oh, today after hours. All right. Pretty simple play then. So now we've got a nice solid trend. It's met its measured move target. This is the run up before earnings. Now it'll either go up, down, or sideways. We know there's 3 directions in the market. We're barely breaking into this liquidity zone. It's got a good chance to run up to that target pretty damn quick, right? I've seen it happen before on an earnings call where you get one big ass bar running up, people chasing it, stacking orders right when the bell rings basically. And then they get really disheartened when, Mr. CEO picks up the earnings call microphone and says, yeah, well, this isn't great. Instant flashing red candle straight down to the bottom of that zone, right? So you've got plenty of range to trade in there, all the way to 1250. Very possible. Sometimes if the expectation of the earnings call is a little bit bearish, and at this point it's not, the expected EPS is 11 cents a share, you'll get some speculation where people recognize that this has made a big bullish move. The measured move target's been met. A lot of traders will profit right at the bell. They'll flash it down, and then you catch a little bounce, and that gives you about where you can expect price to settle on a pullback. So we got all the way down to about 1060. Just kind of eyeball about half of this whole move here. It gives you a pretty good expectation of where it could pull back to. So holding through earnings, I almost never do with shares or options, but
You sharing your screen, Jeremy? Sorry.
again, did Stone take his off?
Yeah.
Let me throw it up here. There we go.
Thank you.
I didn't realize he took his off, and I was over here, yapping at someone on YouTube. So anyway, you find your key area in the middle of a bar, and that's the bar right here. And it can be approximate. You don't have to be dead on with these. You just have to know about where they are. And you can call that your red zone. So if it snaps below this price, you know it's going to retrace the rest of this down to the bottom here, 960 or so. If it stays in this range, it can certainly go up to the next pivot, and I'll mark that one out with just another line. So you can see the transition, but you'll know where it is with the line. You've got plenty of range in this, and earnings can be very volatile with this stock. Historically, you look at the earnings calls, and you got this big dip here. That was a big old gap down for earnings. Another gap down for earnings. All right. Well, this one waited a little while, and then big old gap down. Look at this mess. That candle dropped way the hell down here. So you can expect really big range on Snapchat's earnings. That definitely happens. It's happened in history. So we've got quite the range here to trade on our daily chart and our 2-hour chart. We know where it all is. It can even very well run up to one of these targets during the day before close. I mean, this is huge range. It's volatile. It's a day trader's dream and a swing trader's nightmare. So you're kind of going to trade it candle for candle at this point. But if you're looking to hold earnings, I can say good luck. But it is certainly very volatile in that after hours. Right when that bell rings, you can expect some big candles to happen, I'm sure. And that's what a 5-second chart is great for. You won't see it during the day. It'll be when it's volatile. But nonetheless, you've got some setups you can trade, and that's the whole point, is you don't want to just, expect it to run to here or there for an earnings call. You want to trade the price action, and you want to know where the targets are. So it's as simple as looking left, finding all your control zones, mapping them out. And there's some sub pivots in here too, I'm sure. We could go to the daily chart and look at a couple zones here. Like there's a control bar that goes right up to that, right here, plain as day. We've got another little control area that's right at the base of that candle there. There's even a little gap here that's probably filled at some point, but a lot of times they get revisited. Where did that pivot end up? 1162. I mean, looking left, you can find all of these control areas, and you can find all the relationships to all these different pivot areas. You know where the bag holders are. You know where they're likely to go and empty those bags when they get a little lighter. That's just how the trade is made. But from earnings, I can almost guarantee you Snap's going to be volatile as hell. I just can't give you an exact direct target of which way it's going to go, but I know where it can go. And extreme is like 960, so I mean that's about the middle of this measured move. So you know what, let's round that to 940. So there you have it. It's the best I can do on an earnings call. I can go and set up, swing trades later on. We can figure out after earnings where this is likely to go based on previous price action. We can certainly look back in the previous trend. If it does break that liquidity zone, it's got one hell of a gap above it. I certainly wouldn't try to, wager on reaching that gap, but it's certainly not off the table. It's $22. Hello. So if you get a nice swing trade out of that, if they start turning things around, they have some good numbers come through, they beat earnings or exceed it by an extreme amount, yeah, it can get really volatile, and then you just start looking left for all the control areas of the previous trend. And when you see gaps like this, you can get some pretty big swing trades. Definitely not a swing trade through the earnings, but you've got potential to close many a gap here, so definitely keep out for it. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up on the YouTube. Thanks for joining us, guys. And, like and subscribe and all that other stuff. Everybody kind of says that sort of cliche thing. But what we'd rather tell you is, tell your friends. And if you guys like what you see, give us a try. I mean, we got that prestigious, we're considered the most valuable or the best value, online trading class by Investopedia there. We can boast and brag about that. But, you know, what we do is earn it. We want to maintain that status. And the more we can get together and learn price action together and be able to teach to others what we learn and pay it forward, that's why we're here. You know, we're not trying to sell a service to make money. We make money trading. The reason we're even charging a fee at all is just to keep the business going to where it can just be our platform to be here for you guys. That's it. It just keeps the lights on. And if it gets bigger, we just grow with more monitors, more moderators, more moves, more rooms. A lot more material gets made. It just grows. And if it organically grows, cool. We'll still keep our rates low. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have some better price action leading into tomorrow. And then I think around 2 o'clock we're going to probably go live with some good times. Or maybe a nothing burger. We'll see what happens. We're going to start mapping that out probably tonight. See you guys later.